Hello! It's been a long time since I made a video. Sorry about that. Okay, before we get into this extremely long video, I'm putting timestamps in the description of the things I'm talking about. Anyway, the amount of times that I touch my hair in this video is absolutely unprecedented. I'm really sorry about that. It was soft. I also say and like a lot, but you know what you're getting into now, so have fun. You obviously know what's going on in the world, kind of stuff. Because of the whole situation, I thought I would try and distract myself by making a new video. So I just came up on my 1-year anniversary of my Disney college program. On May 13th, it was a year since I left for Florida, and don't want my lips to be nasty for the video, so sorry about that. Basically, in this video, I'm going to tell you my story of doing the Disney college program, because I constantly get asked on Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that, about how I got the job, what the job was like, everything like that. So I'm going to be talking about that today. So, why am I like legit out of breath right now? Okay, I need some help. Also, my chair's creaky. So sorry. I'm so sorry. How it started was I was at school one day. This was my 3rd year, I think. I saw a sign that said work at Disney World, like something, come to this room at this time and there's a presentation about it. So I was like, okay, dope, let's go. So I went there with my friend Glennis. Presentation, it was like probably an hour long. They basically talked about like what the program was, getting to go to Florida for 3 months, being provided housing, getting to work there, obviously, the perks of working there. I was like super interested in it, obviously. I was also like looking for something to do that summer, thought it could be fun. I like Disney World, I like traveling. Let's go, let's do it. Like what's holding us back here? Nothing. They give a website that you go to apply. So I went to that website. I did the like first round of the application process. You basically just like answer a couple of questions like where you're from and stuff like that, and then you put your resume. And then I think it asks you like a few questions about your experience and stuff. But other than that, like it's kind of like super simple. Literally, why am I out of breath? Super. I applied, kind of forgot about it. This is probably September or October that I applied. And then I think it was in maybe November, December, I was moving on to the next step of the process and I was getting an interview. Like I wouldn't have expected them to do interviews in Ottawa, so I was kind of prepared for that. But so they texted. No, they didn't text me. Hi, it's Mickey Mouse. Nice to talk to you. Like, what the fuck? I'm so stupid. They emailed me and we have interviews that we're doing and we want you to come for an interview. And I was like, sick, like, cool. They gave slots of like interview times and dates, and you choose which one you want to do, like whichever one works best for you. So I chose, I think it was January 22nd. So I'd have to make a little trip to Toronto. I didn't know they have like a whole Disney office there. So that's where my interview was. It was like, it was really cool. There was like big doors and stuff. I went there at like 9 in the morning or something. And there was a presentation first, which the presentation was basically the exact same presentation as I got when I went to the presentation at school, but it did give a little more information about the housing situation, which was like the thing me and my parents were like most worried about, was like where I'm gonna live, like if it's safe to live there, like whatever. Everyone was dressed like what you wear to an interview, like nice stuff, and I like didn't really know that you were supposed to dress that nice, so I wore like a turtleneck and leggings. And everybody else, like I literally went in and everybody was like, they had like a notebook and they were like writing stuff down, and they were all wearing like blazers and like heels and stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm not getting this job. I am so underdressed, I am so underprepared, I am not getting this job, like I might as well just leave. I didn't leave. I'm so proud. It was basically a big room, and in one corner there was one person interviewing, and in the other corner there was another person interviewing. So I like went to the one corner where I was. We were talking about like the job, like it was like a normal job interview really. And she asked me about like my past job experience, and I worked at McDonald's for a long time when I was a teenager. She asked a lot about that, and I did say that my first thing that I wanted to do was QSFB, which is quick service food and beverage. So like everything that sells food that isn't sitting down and like ordering from a waitress. And so they ask you if you have tattoos, because obviously when you work at Disney you have to cover them, or like you just can't have them. So I have a tattoo here, and I have one behind my ear as well. So I told her about that like right away. Obviously, like it's kind of an important thing to talk about, but it's good. It was right after my birthday that I found out. So it was like mid-February. So I got an email. The email itself was like, congratulations, you've been accepted to the cultural exchange program, whatever. So what Canada does is they don't do the Disney College program. That's for like the States and like colleges in the US. If you're coming from another country, you either have to do the International College program, which is like an umbrella that covers the cultural representative program and the cultural exchange program. So I did the cultural exchange program, which is only 3 months. The cultural representative program is 6 months to a year, and you can only work in Epcot at the Canada Pavilion. So you can't work anywhere else. But with the cultural exchange program, you can work anywhere, like anywhere that lets ICPs work. I got accepted for quick service food and beverage. That like kind of worried me at first, because I was like, I have a tattoo. Like I know that they don't, with like hygiene, obviously they don't let you put makeup on a tattoo when you're working with food and stuff, and like you can't really have long sleeves. I don't know, like that's the kind of stuff that I heard. So I ended up emailing, and I was like, hey, like I mentioned this at my interview, but like I have a tattoo on my arm. I don't know if I was put in the wrong role. They were like, okay, like whatever, we'll switch you to attractions. And then once my location and housing came in, my first choice was in Vista Way, which was, you make a list of like which one you want the most and which one you want the least. Like you just make a little like 1 to 5. So there's 4 housing complexes. There's Patterson, Vista Way, the Commons, and Chatham. I didn't really care. I just didn't want a room with bunk beds, because I did not want to be living on like the bottom bunk for 3 months. Like no thank you. So my first choice was the 3-bedroom 6-person at Vista Way, and I ended up getting that. You can link up with friends if you want to live with them, and then they'll like take that into consideration when they're putting you in housing. So I linked with 2 of my friends. Like you don't know who lives where until like the day you get there. So you don't know who your roommates are actually going to be until you like literally get there, and it's a little bit stressful. So I ended up getting, in my letter that gave me my location and my housing, I ended up getting Vista Way, the 3-bedroom 6-person, and given a location for quick service food and beverage. And hi, that's not what my role is anymore. Like you gave me the wrong location for the wrong role. So I emailed them, and they were like, oh yeah, like don't worry about it, we'll fix it like when we get there. The entire like time everybody knew where their location was and everything like that. I didn't know. Like I knew where I was living, but I didn't know where I was working. But day finally came, took a plane down to Florida, oh yeah, my flight was delayed by like 4 hours. I ended up missing the check-in times. Like they had to leave my key with the security guard. I got there and I met all my roommates. I ended up getting put with Emma and Caroline, but I also ended up getting put with 2 girls named Ariane and Akalia. Ended up actually becoming like really, really, really good friends, which is nice. I still talk to them every day, even a year later. So this program made me make a lot of friends. A couple days into when you get there, you start traditions, which is basically like Disney's way of saying like orientation. I didn't get to go with the rest of my friends because I hadn't like given me a role or a location or anything. So I like stood at home, and then one night I get a call. I'm at Walmart, I get a call. They're like, oh yeah, like since you got sent to attractions instead of quick service, like you got to take a drug test. I come down like tonight, and it was like 9 p.m. at this time, and they were like, oh yeah, we close at midnight, so you can come like tonight or like tomorrow morning, whatever. And I was like, you want me to go there at 11 p.m. or 6 in the morning? But I did it anyway. I went, got my drug test, whatever. You know, I was a little worried. Because I didn't know a drug test was coming. And I am from Canada, where certain things are legal. And, you know, so I was a little bit worried. I was kind of shaking in my boots while I was there. They didn't end up deporting me, so everything's fine. And eventually I got to do traditions, and I ended up finding out my actual location, and it ended up that I was in Adventureland Liberty Square. So that whole area has a lot of rides to, you know, deal with, but only a couple are available to international people. So the only places really that you could work in attractions in Adventureland Liberty Square would be like Haunted Mansion or Aladdin. And I ended up getting put Aladdin, which I'm super happy about because the costume was so light and like so breathable, and all my friends that worked at Haunted Mansion said that their costumes were like awful and they were so hot all the time. So I'm kind of happy about that. But Haunted Mansion also has air conditioning. Aladdin does not because it's outside. There's a system basically for calling in sick. I think if it's 3 call-outs in a month, you get a reprimand. If you get, I think it's 6 in 90 days, you get a reprimand too. But when you call out, you can't go to any of the parks, but sometimes like you actually get sick. Like one time, I had to call out once for like 2 days in a row because I got food poisoning from 1900 Park Fair, which is a character dining at the Grand Floridian. I actually called out my very last day of work because YOLO, and I think that call out would have gotten me a reprimand, so I probably won't get hired again if I apply again, but I'm probably never gonna apply again. I asked on Instagram about some questions people have, so these are a couple. Where was your favorite place to work strollers? Okay, so before I even knew my location, like before I knew my real location, I knew the area that I was going to be in, which was Adventureland Liberty Square. So before I started training, I needed hours obviously so I could pay my rent, so I ended up getting 5 shifts a week, 8 hours each of strollers. Strollers is literally the worst thing you can do. You are out 8 hours a day in the hot sun, dealing with people trying to park their strollers where they're not supposed to park them, going to get strollers, putting them where they're supposed to be, people thinking that somebody lost their stroller even though you just moved it because it was in the wrong place. Getting a little heated actually, sorry about that. But yeah, it was really bad. I did that for like probably 2 or 3 weeks. It was so bad. My favorite place to work strollers was the Haunted Mansion. Thank you very much, because right beside the strollers was a Hall of Presidents. So every 20 minutes when the doors would open and people would come out, I got a little splash of air conditioning, and it was very nice. Do you think the program was worth it? Yes and no. So if you genuinely want to go work at Disney for the experience, which is what I wanted to do, definitely go ahead and do it. But if you're doing it because you want a summer job that pays you well and so you can save money, do not do this program. You don't make a lot of money because a lot of money goes to rent, and you only make like minimum wage. Okay, the pros and cons. Pro obviously, is that you like get to see behind the scenes. Like, I worked in Magic Kingdom, so I got to see the tunnels underneath. I don't know if you're supposed to talk about that, but like, I got to see the characters when they were like not so decent. It was really cool to like see the behind the scenes of that, and it was really cool to be able to get into the parks for free and get discounts and stuff like that. But a couple cons. As I was saying, I was talking about the cons of my program. I'd watched a lot of videos before of like character performers and like their experience and stuff, but I didn't really know that my program would kind of not ruin, but like taint my experience with character performers, more specifically face characters. So my thing was I worked at Magic Kingdom, so in the tunnels I would see the characters, obviously. I don't know how to say this without like ruining it for everybody else. So I would see characters in like positions where it kind of ruined it for me, like sharing the cafeteria with them. It's just different because you see the character, but they're not the character, obviously, because they're not working at the moment, but they're still in their full, you know, makeup and hair. That like kind of sucked because pretty much for the whole summer I didn't really meet any face characters because I just after seeing what it's like from the other side, I just didn't really want to talk to them anymore because I thought it would be awkward, because like working there like made me realize that they're actually real people. Like, a lot of people I think are gonna get mad at me for saying this, but like, they're not the character. Obviously, they're a person. An important thing about Disney is like detaching that, and instead of saying like they play this character, like they're friends with this character, because they're not that character. Like, Disney magic only goes so far. When you see how things are from the other side, it's difficult to get back to how you saw it when you were a kid. So that one I think was a con for me. I don't know. It was hard to get used to, for sure. Another thing with face characters is just like, I don't want to talk to them because I'm gonna be awkward, because I know certain characters that worked a lot that I would see in the tunnels and stuff a lot. And then like I knew they recognized me, so that if I were to go meet them, like I wouldn't know how to act. One of those people were like Jack Sparrow. Like, I could never meet him because it was always the same guy. And like he would say hi to me, and like I like sort of knew him. Like, I didn't know his name, but like he would like say hi to me and stuff. Then he would say hi to me when he was in character, and I'd be like, don't talk to me. Next question. Do you think the program / the representation of the program on social media is toxic? A few people that I know who have done the program have like beef. Obviously people I know are gonna watch this, but like to keep it as like minimal as possible. On my program within Canada, I don't know if other people see it this way, but I definitely felt this way during the summer. There was like team this person and team this person. So how I felt was that you were either team this girl or team this girl. At the beginning of the summer, I was team this girl. And then by the end of the summer, I ended up being team this girl. Because this girl was just, I mean, if you did my program, you definitely know who I'm talking about. And if you're watching this and you know who you are, so sorry. But this girl, she ended up being like a really sweet girl and a person I like genuinely like. So I ended up being team this girl by the end of the summer. Back to the question. What was the question? Am I stupid? Okay. Do you think the program or the representation of the program on social media is toxic? It's the same thing with like anything. It's always like a hierarchy of followers. If you have more followers, I don't think it's toxic. I think it's on a smaller scale, like a little bit scandalous. What were some of the things that were frowned upon as a cast member that weren't actually rules? The thing with Disney is like a lot of things are rules. Like, there's so many rules to being a cast member. You can't take pictures backstage or in your break room or anything. In my break room or in the tunnels or whatever, like I couldn't even take a Snapchat. Like, you literally cannot take a picture in the back. Talking about character performers, instead of saying, you know, this person plays this person, you'd say this person is friends with this person, which is a big thing. But that is actually rules. So they pretty much have a rule for like literally everything. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I had a lot of fun on this program. No, I'm not going to do it again. Yes, this will probably be my last Disney related video. I've got a few video ideas in the noodle. But if you have anything that you want me to talk about or make a video about, you know, all 120 of you, if anybody is just dying for me to talk about like one thing, like I know I'm really famous, but like I'll try to get through all your comments. Like I know there's gonna be so many comments and I'll try to get through them all, but thank you for watching. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Make sure to like my video, subscribe. Bye!